I paid 20,000 euros for an online store. After 18 months, it still wasn't finished. I lost almost 13,000 euros and got almost nothing. I started working on my first online store when I just started selling on marketplaces. At first, it wasn't a priority. Sales were already coming in and I focused on products and orders on marketplaces. At the same time, I still had a full-time job, so there just weren't enough hours in a day. But later, when I had more time, when I hired my first employees, I decided that I need a real e-commerce store. So I decided to work with agency. I found them when I was looking for an agency for my offline stores to create ads. Talked about in the last video. I wanted some custom plugins to synchronize all the systems in one place. And they said that they have already done this before. It sounded perfect. I didn't check other options. That already was my mistake number one. They said it would take just a month. At first, when I just started creating, I was already using Shopify for my websites. I already knew it, so I wanted Shopify. But they said that WordPress would be better. More control, more options. The decision became a big problem later. But at the start, everything looked good. They replied fast, they had a plan. I sent them everything. Products, photos, texts, and an advance payment for the whole project. After 1 month passed, nothing. Then a message that everything is almost done. But that almost became 4 months. And finally, I got the first version. It wasn't finished, missing features, no real system, but I was still positive. I even met them to talk about marketing. Good thing that I didn't sign anything more. At the start, payment was simple. I paid them half before when starting project and we agreed half after finishing the project. Then they started asking for more money for work done. They said, if you don't pay, we just stop the project. I did not want it to stop, so I paid. That was another mistake. After that, I changed how I communicate. No more calls, no WhatsApp, only email. So everything is written. Because at that point, there were already too many problems. Talking about this online store, I have to mention at least some real problems that I had, because there were a lot of them. Let's start with something simple as the languages. In Latvia, it's usual for an online store to have multiple languages. Agency advised this themselves, so I paid for the store to be fully translated into 3 languages. Now, it wasn't the biggest problem that some translations are missing at first. When I noticed mistakes and sent to agency, they fixed it fast. There were much bigger issues with the languages. Like products could show different delivery times in different languages. Same product, but completely different information. And this wasn't some one-time thing. It kept happening again and again. Every time I had to message agency to fix it. But this issue was never really solved. And there were even more problems with languages. Another big one, emails. Customers received emails in the wrong languages. And customers noticed. They called me. They complained. Agency couldn't fix this completely, so the solution was to just disable multiple languages. So emails were sent only in one, but even from that one language, translations would disappear. Another problem, and a huge one, prices. At first, I didn't believe it. Clients called and told that prices were changing. On the product page, it shows one price, but in the cart, it becomes something else. I thought that that's not possible, no way that's happening. Then I saw it myself. Honestly, I felt embarrassed. I turned the store off immediately. I don't even know how long it was like that, how many people saw it and just left. There were also problems with stock. Products showed as sold out even when they weren't, or the opposite. You open the product page and the info changes. So again, completely wrong information. There was some cache issue. It did not clear itself automatically. So from time to time, I had to manually check the website for the mistakes like that. Write all of that to the agency to fix it. It happened quite a lot. There were problems with almost everything imaginable. Cancelled orders sometimes created multiple credit invoices, login with Google and Facebook stopped working almost immediately. We never even got to fixing it, as there were always the bigger problems. Plugin updates, which I paid for, only happened when I reminded them. Delivery integrations also broke. And for the first 2 months of development, they blamed that for all the delays. Then later, there was a new partner to blame. Now we got to the main plugin. The whole reason I chose this agency, as they told, they already had experience with such integration. I wanted for orders from all marketplaces to be imported in this website, so all operations could happen in one place. Orders from marketplaces had to be imported in website system to track stock correctly and to generate shipping labels more easily. But it did not go as smoothly as planned. Orders duplicated, stock became wrong, cancelled orders from marketplaces didn't cancel properly in my system. Shipping labels didn't always generate, which was one of the main things that should have made the process faster. Since we enabled this integration, I couldn't trust my stock anymore. This plugin was the main reason I agreed to work with this agency. And this plugin, it was never finished. That's actually what I got my money back for. And everything I just told you, these were only the problems that still existed at the very end. I don't even want to remember everything else, but you can imagine how many issues there were. If after 18 months, this is what was left. The store, it technically worked. There were even sales. But after everything, I had zero trust in it. I didn't want to keep hosting with this agency, but I also didn't want to move it somewhere else. Because I saw how many problems and limitations this store had. Especially compared to what I could build myself, even with something simple like Shopify. So when my hosting period ended, I just did nothing. Sales were happening elsewhere, I didn't expect anything anymore. I spoke to a lawyer, and he said it's hard to prove this, and better, easier to just take the loss. So I did. Final loss, 12,500 euros. And 18 months gone. This was expensive, money, time, stress. But I learned a lot. People can look professional, but they don't always deliver. Always write things down. Calls are easy, but proof is better. Don't trust too fast, take your time, check other options. If something is slow, that's already a warning. Now I'm calm about it. But back then, it hurt. Now it's just a lesson. Money comes back, time doesn't. So if you plan to build an online store, be careful. Track everything, ask questions. This experience changed me. More control, less blind trust. And yeah, that online store is gone. I'm working on something new now. Maybe I'll share it soon. This is just my experience. I'm not blaming anyone, just sharing so you don't make the same mistake.